this time on the Serve to Perform podcast?
I have a lot of people ask, how is it to work for your dad? And I mean, this is the only position outside of babysitting that I've ever had. And so it's kind of the norm for me personally.
Yeah.
But I honestly love it. I love that we're able to have that comfortable, honest relationship. But I also love that we can kind of put a separation when it's time. When I'm talking to my dad, I talk to my dad. When I'm talking to my boss, I talk to my boss.
Welcome back to the Serve to Perform podcast. I am your host, Delaney Osborne, and today we're joined with Miss Sammy Arroyos. Sammy, thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so today we're going to do Sammy's back of the business card. We're going to get to know her a little bit better, how she got involved with Serve to Perform, how long she's been here, because it's been a while. And then we're just going to learn about you specifically. So tell us about you, what you do with Serve to Perform, how long you've been here, all of that jazz.
Sure thing. So the more I've been talking about this lately in like introduction conversations, I'm starting to feel old, which is a new feeling for me.
Yeah.
But I started with the firm as a marketing communications intern.
Okay.
When I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
So the summer before my senior year of high school.
Wow.
That's
a long time.
It is. Yeah. Back when I used to wear my Forever 21 cheetah blouses.
Oh, yes.
And
yeah.
with the little crop blazer, back when that was a style. But yeah, I started when I was 16.
Okay.
So I've been with the firm almost 9 years.
Wow.
I worked my way up to a project manager role, which we called Project Ninja.
There you go.
Which loved having that on my business card. Wish I could still have that a little bit. And then into the chief of staff.
Okay.
Wearer of all hats, really, throughout each position. Yeah. But over time, was able to learn more about the industry, more about business, more about how we can help people.
Yeah.
And get to know and grow my network over time, too. Where I worked through high school, through college, and once I graduated, went full-time chief of staff, and a little over a year ago, became partner, where I am now.
Awesome. Wow. So you've grown up with this firm. I mean, literally grown up through and in and with this firm, which is so wild and so awesome to say, and to specifically say, like, now you're a partner. You worked from literally being an intern to now being one of the main people of this company, which is awesome. How was that year after year transition, right? Starting from the intern and then now being where you are now.
It was definitely interesting. I was definitely able to learn over time how to keep challenging myself.
Yeah.
Because there were so many subject matter experts and so many amazing individuals around me, I was able to be provided. I was very blessed that our team provided me with opportunities to grow my strengths, to learn more, to observe. Our CEO, my dad, likes to say, I am the asker of all questions. I will not shy away from any questions, but really able to kind of challenge myself over time. I know transitioning from that intern to that chief of staff project manager role was a challenge for me. Even going from part-time in college to full-time was a major transition.
Yeah.
I remember so many conversations in those early few months where it was, hey, you're full-time now. Yeah. You've got to be able to step it up to that next position. And I was able to kind of rise to the occasion. And I love a challenge, and I love opportunities for growth. And so it was wonderful. But I've definitely been able to learn so much over the time where I have my undergrad, but I also have almost 10 years of professional experience.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing how many people that I've been able to work with. I love working with the people in our firm. Everyone knows I treat everyone like they're part of my family. Yeah. And so it's definitely been amazing to be able to grow up in this family, see it grow from when it was me as an intern, our tech individual, our COO kind of individual, and Adam. It was just a small little team that worked out of the largest table at Panera Bread. Yeah. And to see where it is now, to see how many individuals in the community were able to help, to see how many organizations we're able to partner with. Yeah. It's just wonderful to be able to observe that. And even there's areas that we continue to grow. I know even right now, our team member, Leo McKnight, is helping us with our skills within business development, being able to see how we can further support to those individuals we're already working with, being able to partner with other organizations, other industries. So just being able to see not only who we've been able to support in the past, but who else we can support and what other families we can join and what other people we can work with and what other skills we can develop to continue that support.
Yeah. So you mentioned your dad's Adam, right?
Yes.
You mentioned your dad is the owner of this company and the CEO. How has that dynamic been, right? Working for your dad, partnering beside him, supporting him, but him also supporting you in a business setting and not just a family setting.
So that's always a little different. Excuse me. I have a lot of people ask, how is it to work for your dad? And I mean, this is the only position outside of babysitting that I've ever had. And so it's kind of the norm for me personally.
Yeah.
But I honestly love it. I love that we're able to have that comfortable, honest relationship. But I also love that we can kind of put a separation when it's time. When I'm talking to my dad, I talk to my dad. When I'm talking to my boss, I talk to my boss. And some people mess with me because when I was 17, I went to my dad and I said, hey, so to keep it professional, are you cool if I call you Adam in the office?
Okay.
And I was thinking about your 17-year-old coming to you with this. And he said, okay, let me know why. And I said, well, I've noticed when I say dad, other people refer to me as your dad.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to be professional. I want to learn professional etiquette and kind of grow in there. So to this day still, if we're in a meeting, he's Adam. If it's just me and him, it's dad. But I love that relationship. I love that we're able to have both those areas. And I mean, Serve to Perform is our family's baby.
Yeah.
It's such a big part of our lives. And so being able to be together in this endeavor over time just makes it that much sweeter.
Exactly. So you grew up in Northwest Arkansas, here
I did.
in Northwest Arkansas. And what's wild is people don't know that me, you, and Megan all basically grew up together, which is awesome and really crazy how full circle everything has come now that we're all working together.
Go Purple Dogs.
Yes, go Bulldogs. And so it's wild, it really is a family event, right? It's not it's us against them. It's we're getting a new client, so we need to figure out how to deal with them. It is really okay, you're a part of our family now. Mm-hmm. How do we figure out how to utilize your skills, how to help other people, and how to make an impact? And that's what I love, because Serve to Perform literally is built on those things, right? We're built on service, we're built on performing, and we're built on working with people to make them better. And that's what's happened. I mean, growing up here in Northwest Arkansas with y'all, right? I've gotten to see that firsthand. I've gotten to see how your dad is in the community and he's serving, but he also got y'all in the community at a very young age. And that made a huge impact on you, if I'm speaking correctly. Talk a little bit about that, growing up with him and growing up with that service mindset that he grew up with, and how different that was and how different that made you and Megan compared to other kids.
Sure thing. So I know if anybody knows Adam, they know he's been learning service since he was a child from his mom, from my grandma. And so service is just really deep rooted in our family, on my mom's side as well. We grew up ever since we were little. If you have something, you can share something. And just serving at any time. I know when I was a kid, our parents put a lot of importance on being able to be there with us and experience things with us. We were a really young family, but for example, when my mom was going back to school to be a teacher, my dad took a job at the Boys and Girls Club as a director so that we could be with him after school. Yeah. So that we could be in the Boys and Girls Club with him and have that time with our parents. And so our parents were really involved in us growing up, but also in the community where my mom taught classes at Boys and Girls Club. We grew up when my dad would have board meetings. He would sometimes be, hey, can I bring my daughters?
Yeah.
It's not a common thing for children to be in board meetings, and we weren't in all of them, but I remember showing up to some of his meetings, some of his events, where he would go, girls, we're going to get dressed up, we're going to go learn what it's like to go to a business event. Yeah. Or he's receiving an award for the community, he goes, girls, I want you to see what it's like. And so from when we were a kid, we mostly didn't see ourselves as children, but we saw ourselves as kind of on our way to becoming young women and young professionals.
Yeah.
And so over time, we've been able to learn so much and be exposed to so much. I know from when I was little, my dad always said, what are the 5 P's?
Yeah.
Proper planning prevents poor performance.
Okay.
And that was drilled into our minds from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Whether it was our homework assignments, starting an essay early, doing some volunteer service. Even when my sister and I don't know if people like the outdoors, but if you know what chacos are, they became really cool when we were in high school.
Yes.
And when my sister and I wanted chacos, he goes, okay, you don't need them, but you want them, write up a business proposal.
Okay.
Why do you need these?
Yeah.
And so even with little things like that, we were always challenging ourselves and trying out new things, going out to community events where we can volunteer. On my mom's side of the family, it was a lot of volunteering in races, seeing how we can support anywhere from Fayetteville to Bentonville to Taneytown to Rogers. All of Northwest Arkansas was our home. Yeah. So we were definitely able to learn a lot, meet a lot of people, and just nobody was a stranger. It was who can we help, who can we meet, and that was just always the mindset. So it's funny because it's not really unique of building a network now because it was always there.
Yeah, exactly. And growing up in that, right? Growing up in this community and making Northwest Arkansas y'all's community, right? I mean, your mom was pulling you out of the house. Your dad was pulling you out of the house. You were engaging with people at school, with kids you never even would have thought of. I mean, I never would have thought that we would have been working together now, you know? And that's something that's wild too, is just y'all are built on those connections, y'all's family specifically, right? Like we've stayed connected. That's how we knew, oh, I could do this job, right? That's why I can host this podcast and talk to the people and talk to clients and people who are watching this and really say, no, this is what we do. It's not just what we say. This is what we do and this is what we live. Growing up in this community, how different has it been to watch y'all's company just continue to grow in this community specifically?
I would say in this community, it's been amazing because I think we've been able to grow with Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid and I would get stares in the grocery store because my mom was Caucasian and I was much darker. Yeah. And so, remembering that from when I was a child and now thinking about how much empowerment and celebration there is within our community of our diversities, on the importance of an inclusive culture, I feel like we've been able, and it's very proud for me to say this, I feel like we've been able to help in making that difference. Yeah. And I feel like we've been able to support our community as well as a lot of organizations, because we don't just look at our firm as we do services for organizations. Yeah. No, we look at how we're able to serve everyone. That's why even quarterly we have touch bases to see how we can support the community. Yeah. We have our stakeholder roundtables where we meet with our contacts, these amazing people who want to make a difference and want to help us ideate, okay, how are we going to help the community? How are we going to develop? How are we going to support Northwest Arkansas in our continued growth? Yeah. Because this is an amazing community with amazing people. I mean, I may be a little biased, just a little bit.
And I may be too, so.
But I just love it here. I love these people. And everybody has space to work together. Everyone has space to serve. Yeah. We all have that opportunity. It's just about opening that dialogue. Yeah. And I know in every podcast I do with you, I talk about opening dialogue because I'm a talker. But I think that's so important to just, it is. Like even when you were saying keeping in touch with people. Yeah. People are amazing. Yeah. And our minds and hearts are amazing. We just need to express that. Just express it to one another.
And not be afraid to express that, right? Yes. And that's the biggest deal is it's what's really wild of how I even, come to working now full-time almost a year with Serve to Perform is because I reached out to Megan about y'all's mom being pregnant with her most recent child, y'all's most recent sibling.
Oh, Gracie.
Yes. And I literally was like, oh my gosh, tell your mom congrats. I hope you guys are doing well. If you guys ever need anything media-wise, let me know. And Megan was like, oh my gosh, like we literally need somebody. And so it worked out perfectly, but just keeping that connection, right? Yeah. Being able to say, hey, Sammy, if you ever need anything, let me know. Oh, yeah. Or same for Megan, and that's huge. That's a lost art. Communication is a lost art in today's day and age. But being able to just keep that, connection that we've had since we were so little is huge and huge for our development.
It's so important. And it's interesting how it can even loop back to business and social capital. But it's so important to let people know how much you care about them.
Yeah.
Like on my weekends, my favorite thing to do is when I'm just relaxing, or I tend to adventure on the weekends. So if I'm on a bike ride and it pops in my head a person that I haven't talked to in a while, and I say, you know what? I saw this about them on Insta, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I want to tell them how amazing they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't comment, or I do, but I don't just like or comment. I text them.
Exactly.
I email them. I say, hey, you're doing amazing.
Yeah.
And it is so awesome to see how much you're doing. I hope you're doing great. I just wanted to reach out and say that.
Yeah.
It means so much to individuals for you to share that. And it doesn't take an effort at all. It doesn't take time, but it makes you feel good. It makes them feel good. And it strengthens that relationship for future efforts to be able to support each other, to be able to grow ourselves, to be able to serve others.
Exactly.
I love doing that. I was actually taught that by one of my mentors.
Yeah, which is awesome. Sammy, your passion, genuinely, what you guys are seeing when we talk, it is what you get. I mean, it is what you get. You are so passionate about what we do, about being a good person, about developing every single day and being better than you were yesterday. And that is huge. That's what we do here at Serve to Perform. And that's our basis, right? Serving, performing, and being the best people that we can specifically be. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing a little bit about you. Thank you for being who you are, specifically for our company, for me as a friend, all of the above. So if you have anything you want to add, I think we're good to go. But if you have anything you want to add, you can go ahead and go.
Of course, Lainey, I always love talking to you. Love being on here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Next time on the Serve to Perform podcast. Going through that process, right? I mean, like we said, it's a process. How do you keep your team engaged? Maybe from personal experience or just from things that you have seen. How do you bring everybody along and not leave one behind or have one way in front?
So I think you have to bring them together. And I think, it's something that certainly should be done at the kickoff of every new year.
Yeah.
And really kind of having a session where it's all about what is our organization trying to accomplish strategically first.
Yeah.
And then how about this year? And all organizations have that information available. It's sometimes just not shared with your team.
Yeah.